Hi. Let's learn about the Lorenz curve. A Lorenz curve is a graphical representation of the distribution of income or wealth within a population. Developed by American economist Max Lorenz in 1905, the graph plots percentiles of the population on the horizontal axis according to income or wealth and plots cumulative income or wealth on the vertical axis. In practice, a Lorenz curve is usually a mathematical function estimated from an incomplete set of observations of income or wealth. The curve is often accompanied by a straight diagonal line with a slope of 1, which represents perfect equality in income or wealth distribution. The Lorenz curve lies beneath it, showing the observed or estimated distribution. There are several important components to understand when analyzing a Lorenz curve. It represents a graphical depiction of the inequality distribution of wealth or income, based on data such as tax returns for a large portion of the population. A Lorenz curve usually starts with an empirical measurement of wealth or income distribution across a population based on data such as tax returns, which report income for a large portion of the population. The Gini coefficient is used to express the extent of inequality in a single figure and is often used to compare two different nations or countries to see which has more inequality. A Lorenz curve can be prepared for any geographical region and can visually display the distribution across each percentile, showing precisely at which income percentiles the observed distribution varies from the line of equality and by how much. A Lorenz curve gives more detailed information about the exact distribution of wealth or income across a population than summary statistics. It maintains the anonymity of the underlying surveyed individuals and can be layered on top of itself over time to demonstrate how public policy has changed the level of inequality at various points along the Lorenz curve. Because constructing a Lorenz curve involves fitting a continuous function to some incomplete set of data, there is no guarantee that the values along a Lorenz curve correspond to the true distributions of income. The Lorenz curve may also be insufficient to clearly demonstrate the extent of change of inequality over time and can be sensitive to the quality and sample size of the data. The curve above shows a continuous Lorenz curve that has been fitted to data that describes income distribution in Brazil as of 2020. If Brazil were a perfectly equal society, the bottom 55% would earn 55% of the total income. The approximate Gini coefficient for this data set was around 50%, according to the World Bank. The Lorenz curve represents one of the best and simplest ways to illustrate the level of economic inequality in society. As the Lorenz curve moves away from the baseline, the unequal distribution keeps increasing. Government agencies are especially interested in Lorenz curves, especially for net worth and income distributions within their country. Lorenz curves inform governments of how public policy is working and may also be an indicator of how a government should establish its tax brackets based on gaps or ranges of income. After collecting data from a relatively large sample size, a Lorenz curve is then fitted to best demonstrate the distribution of that data set. Because each set of information is different, there is no single universal curve formula, and the nonlinear regression will often look very different for different data sets. A common method of visually analyzing inequality distributions is to use a Lorenz curve. The curve graphically depicts what a standard distribution of equality would look like and is used to calculate the Gini coefficient to mathematically analyze how unequal a dataset is, and it is used to visually examine inequality levels as well. Here are 5 key takeaways. 1. A Lorenz curve is a graphical representation of the distribution of income or wealth within a population. 2. Lorenz curves graph percentiles of the population against cumulative income or wealth of people at or below that percentile. 3. Lorenz curves, along with their derivative statistics, are widely used to measure inequality across a population. 4. The Lorenz curve is a central piece in calculating the Gini coefficient, a mathematical representation of inequality levels. 5. Because Lorenz curves are mathematical estimates based on fitting a continuous curve to incomplete and discontinuous data, they may be imperfect measures of true inequality. Hope this would help. Thanks for watching.